Hello happy people, Hamza here and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video I want to show you how to style your search availability form for the MotoPress hotel booking website. And we're going to do this both for Elementor and also for Gutenberg. But remember, before I had created a tutorial, and in that tutorial I shared on how you can style this search availability form, but in that tutorial I showed you how to do it using a CSS code. And when you come here and look into this widget by selecting it, go to Advanced, Custom CSS, you see that I shared a piece of code which you could basically use to customize this search availability widget. But in that case, I realized later on that it wasn't perfectly responsive on the mobile devices, just like you see over here. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to fix that in a very easy and seamless way. And our form will look just something like this. For example, when you look over this form over up here, now when I view it on a mobile device, you see now that it is perfectly responsive without having the fields overlapping each other. And the same on tablet, it will look perfectly well, and on desktop. And this same form, without it being done in Elementor, we can also do it in Gutenberg, and again it will also be perfectly responsive, just like this, on a tablet, on a mobile, and yes, everything will be smooth. So now let's get started. So the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to move over here to our plugins, and we're going to come over here to add a new plugin. And the plugin we are going to add is called Hotel Booking Styles. This is a newly released plugin by MotoPress, and when you scroll right down here, it is called Hotel Booking Styles, and it is made by MotoPress. Just simply install and activate it. Once it is activated, of course, it will come right here in your installed plugins, and it will show up as Hotel Booking Styles. Now, if you're looking into customizing your search availability form or widget like this here in Elementor, don't forget to also install the Hotel Booking and Elementor integration plugin. Just simply search this name, install the plugin, and have it activated. That way you'll have the option to get this widget right here from the Elementor widgets. By coming over here and search for availability, the search form will show up over here, and you simply just have to drag it over to your editor. You have now finished installing your hotel booking styles. Next, what you're going to do is simply come over here to accommodations and go straight to settings, and right under settings you're going to move straight to the extensions part, and then you're going to click here on the styles. Now this is going to list all the available styles you can use to customize your hotel booking search availability widget. So there are a couple of styles, just like you see over here, is style from horizontal, hide labels, no padding, hide some messages, get a fluid button, and also kind of limiting the maximum width of the form fields. So now let's start customizing our form or adding a form to a Gutenberg page. I'm going to add a new block, and now you have two options. You can use the search availability form because now the hotel booking engine has a search availability form built in Gutenberg, but also you can use a shortcode. So let's start with the availability search form built into Gutenberg, which is this over here. I'm simply going to delete the first one that was there. So now we have this one, and by default it is vertical. Now you can still do all the other edits, like for example removing the paddings, removing the labels, and all that stuff by simply coming over here to customizations, and you have these options right here. These options are available once you use the Gutenberg inbuilt block for the hotel booking engine. Now for example, when I say hide labels, just look over here, hide labels, boom, we no longer have any labels. So I turn them back on. For example, now if we switch to the horizontal search bar, so by coming over up here under customization styles, by switching over here to horizontal form, boom, now we have our form horizontal. Now let me just show you a preview of this same block. You see now how it looks like over here. Now let's get back to our editor. Now when I select our block once again, and I come right down here to customizations, and I say for example hide paddings, or I say no padding, you realize that all these fields here won't have a padding. Now when I say preview, boom, you see that now these form fields over here have no padding. Now I wouldn't advise you to do something like that. Over here you can say stretch the button, you can limit the maximum width for the form fields 33%, 100%, all the way that you want. Let me first preview this form just to have it updated. Okay, now we have our paddings over there. Now when you simply just show up this form on the mobile device, you see that it is 100% responsive on the mobile device, which is something that we wanted, and this is a feature that comes in with the new hotel booking styles plugin. The other thing that you can look into using is a shortcode. For example, if you add over here a new block and simply just get the shortcode block. So an example of the shortcode that we can add is the MotoPress availability search, which is the same that represent this search form right here. Remember, here we use the block, now here we are simply using a shortcode. Now when we preview this, you realize that now we have our search availability form right here, and now by default it is showing up vertical. So what you do if you want it to be horizontal when you're using a shortcode, that's where these shortcode classes come into play. For example, we have this style over here that will turn our vertical form to be horizontal, which is just like this over here. So I'll just copy this whole shortcode. I come to our Gutenberg editor, I paste that. Remember, we have our default search availability shortcode, and then we also added a class. Okay, now our form has changed to the horizontal layout. Now the other thing we can do is, of course, we can add other classes to customize this form in a way that we want. For example, we can remove the paddings, and we can even hide the form labels, just like I've shown you before. Now how do you do that? You simply just come back over here to our styles, and let me say we want to hide the labels. You copy the label style, come over here to your Gutenberg editor, and then you can simply just add a space over here and then add the shortcode style for the hiding the labels. Now when we preview this, boom, the labels have been hidden. The same you can also do in case you want to apply other styles. For example, we want to hide the paddings, or we don't want the paddings on our form. When I come over here now, I'll just simply add a space on the very last style and paste our style, and then now we can preview. Boom, now we don't have padding on our horizontal search availability widget. Now that is a simple way you can edit or customize your search availability form using shortcodes in Gutenberg. Before we go any further, I wouldn't advise you to do anything like that, like hiding the paddings. Maybe you can hide the labels. So let me just get back over here. Now we have our form just hidden the labels. But again, you remember it is still responsive on all devices, just like you see over here. This is the below one where we use the shortcode and we have hidden the labels. Now let's go and see how this can be done also if you have Elementor. So what you simply just have to do is go to your pages and simply just open up any page with Elementor, or the page where you want to display your search availability widget using Elementor. At the moment, I have already a page opened up over here in Elementor. What I'm going to do is simply to delete all these over here. Now I'm simply just going to add the widget. So this is the form over here, search availability form. I drag it into my editor, and boom, there it shows up. So by default it is vertical. Now how do we turn it to be horizontal? So by simply clicking over here on this search availability form, we can add our shortcode. But remember, before on the earlier tutorial I showed you how to do it using a CSS, and remember it wasn't perfectly responsive on a mobile device. Now we are going to do it using the styles plugin that we have just added, and our form will be perfectly responsive. So we're going to simply just come over here to the classes, and we're going to come over here to our settings under extensions, and we're going to simply do one thing, just to copy this style over here to turn our form to be horizontal. Come to our editor and simply just paste your code over there. Boom, our form is now horizontal, and at the same time it will be 100% responsive on all the devices, just like you see now over here on the mobile device. Of course, you can also add other styles like hiding the labels. Just copy the style for hiding the labels, come to your Elementor editor, come to your classes section, add a space and paste the style for hiding the labels. See, now our labels are hidden and everything still is perfectly responsive. Okay, now when you look at our search availability form, it has hidden the labels and still perfectly responsive even on a mobile device. Now this is going to save you the stress of adding CSS and trying to edit to make things that suit how you want them to look like. Now don't forget that I set up the colors and the styling for the button right using Astra and appearance, customize, and there's something called global, then there's something called buttons, and here is where you can set up the button color. For example, on normal text color is white, background is this, and on hover it shows up green and text color remains white. This is the exact same thing that you see over right here. So that's how I set up that color right here in the customizer of Astra. The other thing you should also know is that even in Elementor, you can still use the shortcode widget to display your search availability form. Just like over here, when I come and search for shortcode widget, drag it over here to our editor, and I simply just paste my shortcode over here for my search availability widget. It displays automatically over there. Now, if I want to turn it to be horizontal, I just add here a class, and that class is just over here. Just mention the class name and add the style for that class. Okay, I'm simply going to just copy this, come here to our editor, and simply just add our class into our shortcode. Boom! Now we have our search availability form horizontal. You can preview it, and it is still perfectly responsive. In our shortcode widget, we can add more other classes. Just like over when we come over here, we can say hide the labels, come back to our shortcode widget in Elementor, add a space after the last style, and paste your other style that you want to add, and boom, our labels are hidden. When we preview, okay, we no longer have the labels because we have added a style that hides the labels. Now, of course, you can add other styles to your shortcode widget in Elementor, just like any of them right here. I hope this tutorial has answered some of your questions on how you can style up your search availability form so that it is even perfectly responsive on all devices without actually using any piece of code. Thank you so much for watching. Otherwise, I hope you're enjoying the tutorial and building up your hotel booking website in an easy and seamless way. If you like the video, please give it a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Have a good time and goodbye.